There is a quiet story unfolding behind the scenes of your life, a story that has been growing in silence while you focused on healing, learning, and carrying responsibilities that few people truly understood. Long before certain emotions found their way into the light, someone crossed paths with your energy and believed they could remain untouched by it. They convinced themselves that what they felt was temporary, that it would fade like a passing thought carried away by the wind. Yet the heart often travels roads the mind never intended to explore. What began as simple curiosity slowly transformed into something deeper, something they could not explain or control. Day after day, your presence remained with them, appearing in unexpected moments and lingering long after conversations had ended. The strange part was not that they noticed you. The strange part was how impossible it became to forget you. Even during busy hours filled with distractions, your memory seemed to move quietly through their thoughts, leaving behind emotions they had never planned to experience. Far away from your awareness, they began carrying feelings they had once promised themselves they would never allow. Every attempt to dismiss those emotions only seemed to make them stronger, as though their soul had already recognized something their mind was still trying to deny. Type Amen if this message resonates with your spirit. There are connections that arrive with noise and excitement, demanding immediate attention. Then there are connections that grow like dawn itself, slowly illuminating everything until the darkness has nowhere left to hide. This feeling emerged in that gentle way, unnoticed at first but impossible to ignore once it fully appeared. The universe often works through quiet revelations. Small encounters become meaningful memories, ordinary words become treasured moments, and a person's presence begins to feel comforting in ways that cannot be measured or explained. This person never expected your kindness to stay with them. They never expected your resilience to inspire them during difficult days. They certainly never expected your spirit to become a source of warmth whenever life felt uncertain. What surprised them most was how authentic everything felt. In a world filled with masks and performances, your energy seemed genuine, carrying a rare honesty that made them feel safe enough to lower their defenses little by little. Comment 333 as a sign of openness to divine timing. While they appeared calm on the outside, a quiet transformation was happening within them. Old fears began losing their power, and walls built over many years started showing cracks. The more they reflected on their feelings, the more they realized those emotions were rooted in something real. Some nights they found themselves thinking about your smile without understanding why it carried such significance. Other nights they remembered simple moments that seemed ordinary at the time but later revealed deeper meaning. Their heart kept returning to the same truth. No matter how much distance existed, no matter how many distractions filled their schedule, your presence continued to leave an imprint upon their soul. What they once viewed as coincidence slowly began to feel like alignment. Certain encounters, certain conversations, and certain emotional realizations arrived at exactly the right moment, creating a pattern too meaningful to dismiss. One evening, during a period of reflection, they finally stopped running from what they felt. Instead of fighting their emotions, they sat quietly and allowed themselves to acknowledge them. In that moment, a new chapter quietly began. Type Amen and receive this message with a peaceful heart. The journey of the heart rarely follows a straight path. Sometimes feelings arrive before understanding. Sometimes the soul recognizes a connection long before logic can explain it. This person found themselves standing in that exact space, caught between certainty and wonder. They tried focusing on practical matters. They tried convincing themselves that life should remain simple. Yet every effort to ignore their emotions seemed to reveal them more clearly. Your energy became associated with peace. Whenever life felt overwhelming, thoughts of you carried a surprising sense of calm. Whenever uncertainty appeared, remembering your strength reminded them that hope still existed. Without realizing it, they began measuring moments differently. Experiences that once felt important started losing significance, while small interactions connected to you gained greater meaning. Deep within their spirit, something was awakening. It was not obsession. It was not fantasy. It was a sincere appreciation that continued growing because it was nourished by truth rather than illusion. Then came a realization they could no longer avoid. They understood that their feelings were not temporary visitors. They had become part of their emotional landscape, woven into the rhythm of their everyday life. Comment 111 if you believe what is meant for you finds its way naturally. The divine often moves through timing rather than force. Certain connections are not rushed because they are meant to develop with care, allowing both people to grow into the version of themselves capable of receiving what is being offered. Archangel Michael says that patience is not emptiness. Patience is preparation. While you focused on your own journey, unseen emotional growth was taking place within another heart. Many people underestimate the power of authenticity. They believe attraction begins with appearances or circumstances alone. Yet genuine connection often begins when someone encounters a soul that reflects honesty, courage, and kindness. Your journey has not been perfect, and that is precisely what makes your light so powerful. The lessons you survived shaped a wisdom that others can feel even when you never speak about your struggles. This person noticed that strength. They noticed how you continued moving forward despite challenges. They noticed how compassion remained part of your character even after disappointments tried to make you colder. Little by little, admiration transformed into affection. Affection transformed into longing. Longing transformed into a deeper awareness that their heart had already chosen a direction. Type Amen as a reminder that genuine connections grow through truth. There were moments when they wished things would become simpler. Emotions can feel overwhelming when they arrive unexpectedly. They challenge routines, assumptions, and carefully organized plans. Yet the heart has its own language. It speaks through quiet moments, through memories that refuse to fade, through feelings that return even after being ignored. Whenever they imagine the future, your presence seemed to appear naturally within those thoughts. Not because they forced it, but because it felt right. The image of shared understanding brought comfort they could not find elsewhere. A remarkable thing happens when feelings are sincere. Instead of creating chaos, they inspire growth. Instead of draining energy, they encourage healing. Instead of narrowing perspective, they expand it. This connection became a mirror that helped them understand themselves more clearly. Through their feelings for you, they discovered hopes they had forgotten and dreams they had stopped believing in. They realized that love is not merely about receiving. It is also about appreciating another person's existence and wanting the best for them, even during seasons of uncertainty. Comment 777 if you trust the unfolding of divine timing. As the days continued passing, their awareness became impossible to ignore. They stopped asking themselves whether the feelings were real. Their focus shifted toward understanding what those feelings meant. Some emotions arrive dramatically, demanding immediate action. Others unfold gently, creating certainty through consistency. This was the second kind, growing stronger not through intensity but through endurance. My beloved child, there are moments when the universe reveals that certain connections carry deeper lessons than expected. Not every meaningful bond arrives to disrupt your peace. Some arrive to strengthen it. Your spirit has been preparing for greater emotional clarity. The experiences that shaped you were not meaningless. Every challenge taught you something about your worth, your boundaries, and your capacity to love without losing yourself. Meanwhile, another soul has been learning similar lessons. Their path has not been identical to yours, yet growth has been occurring nonetheless. Invisible progress often creates visible results later. The feelings they carry are no longer hidden from themselves. Acceptance has replaced denial, and honesty has begun replacing hesitation. Type Amen if you are ready for clarity and peace. There is beauty in knowing that genuine emotions do not need constant proof to exist. They reveal themselves through consistency, through care, and through the quiet ways someone values your presence even when no one else is watching. This person has spent time reflecting on the impact you have had upon them. They recognize how certain words encouraged them during difficult moments. They recognize how your resilience inspired them when they felt discouraged. Even your imperfections became meaningful because they reminded them that authenticity matters more than perfection. Real connection grows when people are willing to be human rather than flawless. The heart often chooses what feels genuine. It gravitates toward honesty because honesty creates trust. It moves toward light because light creates warmth. Archangel Michael says that some emotions are placed within the soul not as burdens but as guides. They reveal where growth is happening and where deeper understanding is waiting to emerge. This person's feelings have become one of those guides. They are leading them toward greater emotional honesty and encouraging them to embrace truths they once avoided. Comment 444 as a symbol of stability and inner strength. The story unfolding now is not about chasing. It is not about forcing outcomes. It is about recognizing what already exists and allowing it to develop naturally. Love that is rooted in sincerity does not require constant drama to remain alive. It survives through respect, appreciation, and a willingness to see another person clearly. That is what has been happening here. They have begun seeing you not through fantasy but through understanding. The more they learn, the more their appreciation grows. Your kindness matters. Your courage matters. Your journey matters. The qualities you sometimes overlook have become some of the very reasons their feelings continue deepening. In a world that often celebrates appearances, genuine character leaves a lasting impression. Long after temporary attractions fade, authenticity remains unforgettable. Because of that authenticity, your presence continues echoing within their heart. The connection feels meaningful not because it is perfect, but because it feels real. Type Amen and embrace the peace of knowing that what is genuine cannot be forced and does not need to be. My beloved child, continue walking your path with confidence. Continue honoring your growth, protecting your peace, and trusting that every chapter of your journey carries purpose. The heart that never expected to fall in love has reached a place where denial no longer feels possible. What began as curiosity became admiration, what became admiration transformed into affection, and what became affection has now settled deeply within the soul. Their feelings are no longer whispers hidden behind uncertainty. They have become a steady truth, quietly present and impossible to ignore. Whether spoken today or revealed later through actions and timing, the emotional reality remains the same. The divine often writes stories slowly because some truths deserve time to mature. Seeds planted in silence eventually bloom into something visible, beautiful, and undeniable. As you move forward, remember that your value has never depended upon anyone else's recognition. You were worthy before they noticed you, worthy while they were discovering their feelings, and worthy regardless of how any story unfolds. Yet somewhere beyond your immediate awareness, a heart continues learning what it means to care deeply. A soul continues acknowledging emotions it once resisted. And a person who never expected to fall in love can no longer ignore what their heart truly feels. Comment 888 to affirm trust, gratitude, and divine alignment. The truth within their heart continues growing quieter, yet stronger. It no longer needs constant validation because it has moved beyond confusion and entered a place of understanding. What once felt unexpected has now become a natural part of who they are, and every passing day brings a deeper awareness of the connection they feel whenever thoughts of you enter their mind. There are moments when they sit alone and reflect on how much their perspective has changed. They remember the time when they believed their emotions were temporary, and they almost smile at how certain they once felt. Life has a way of humbling even the strongest assumptions, and this experience has taught them that some feelings arrive for reasons greater than logic can explain. The energy surrounding this connection feels different because it was never built upon urgency. It was not created through pressure, fear, or the need to fill an empty space. Instead, it grew through appreciation, respect, and the quiet realization that your presence brought something meaningful into their world. Many people spend years searching for a feeling they cannot describe. They move through countless experiences hoping to discover a sense of belonging that resonates with their soul. Unexpectedly, this person began finding pieces of that feeling whenever they thought about you, and that discovery changed them more than they anticipated. Type Amen if you believe genuine feelings reveal themselves in perfect timing. Sometimes they wonder whether you realize how powerful your influence has been. Not because you tried to change anyone, but because authenticity naturally leaves an impression. The way you carry yourself, the way you continue moving forward despite challenges, and the way your spirit remains kind even after difficult seasons have all become sources of inspiration. The world often celebrates loud achievements while overlooking quiet strength. Yet quiet strength is what transforms lives. It is the courage to keep believing after disappointment, the determination to keep growing after setbacks, and the wisdom to protect your peace while remaining open to possibility. This person has noticed those qualities within you. They have seen evidence of resilience hidden beneath your everyday actions. They have recognized a depth that many people fail to appreciate because they are too distracted by appearances to see what truly matters. That recognition has become one of the foundations of their feelings. It is not merely about attraction. It is about admiration for the person you have become and appreciation for the journey that shaped you. Comment 555 as a sign of positive transformation. There is a sacred beauty in connections that evolve naturally. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels rushed. Instead, each realization arrives exactly when it is meant to arrive, creating a sense of alignment that feels both peaceful and profound. Archangel Michael says that some hearts are guided toward understanding through patience rather than sudden revelation. Every step of this emotional journey has served a purpose, helping this person uncover truths they were not ready to face before. The feelings they carry have encouraged them to become more honest with themselves. Old fears that once controlled their decisions have started losing their influence. The walls built to protect them from vulnerability are no longer as strong as they once seemed. In many ways, loving someone begins long before the words are spoken. It begins with respect. It begins with gratitude. It begins with recognizing another person's value and allowing that recognition to grow into something deeper. That process has been unfolding quietly, like a river finding its path through the landscape. There was never a need to force the direction because the current naturally knew where it was meant to go. Now their heart carries a calm certainty. The confusion that once clouded their emotions has begun fading, replaced by a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Type Amen and welcome clarity into your journey. The divine often teaches through contrast. After experiencing disappointment, people learn appreciation. After experiencing uncertainty, they learn trust. After wandering through emotional darkness, they learn to recognize genuine light when it finally appears. This person has traveled through their own lessons. They have faced moments that challenged their confidence and experiences that tested their faith in meaningful connection. Those seasons were not easy, but they prepared them to recognize something valuable when it entered their life. Your presence arrived as a reminder that sincerity still exists. It reminded them that kindness still matters. It reminded them that not every connection is built upon convenience or circumstance. As these realizations continued growing, their heart became more open than it had been in years. Possibilities they once dismissed suddenly felt worth considering. Dreams they had set aside quietly began returning to life. My beloved child, never underestimate the impact of simply being yourself. The qualities that come naturally to you often become the very qualities that inspire others most deeply. The light you carry may feel ordinary because you live with it every day. Yet to someone else, that same light can become a source of comfort, hope, and encouragement during difficult times. Comment 222 if you trust that what is meant for you will never pass you by. The story is still unfolding, and there are chapters yet to be written. Not every page reveals itself immediately. Some truths emerge gradually, allowing wisdom and understanding to develop alongside them. What matters most is that authenticity remains at the center of this journey. Genuine feelings do not need elaborate performances. They reveal themselves through consistency, patience, and the willingness to remain honest even when honesty feels vulnerable. This person's heart has reached a place where pretending no longer feels necessary. They have acknowledged the emotions they carry and accepted the significance of what those emotions mean. That acceptance has created a quiet sense of peace within them. No matter how circumstances shift, one truth remains unchanged. The connection they feel is real to them. It has shaped their perspective, influenced their growth, and encouraged them to become a more open version of themselves. As the days continue moving forward, they carry gratitude for the role you have played in their journey. They appreciate the lessons, the inspiration, and the emotional awakening that began when they least expected it. And somewhere within the stillness of their heart, a beautiful realization continues shining brighter. The love they never planned for has become a truth they can no longer deny, a feeling they can no longer ignore, and a chapter they can no longer pretend does not exist. Type Amen if you receive this message with faith, peace, and an open heart.